sometimes, but they're trying to work it out right now. They didn't have exactly the right setup. And to be honest with you, I don't even remember all the files that are on that disk, because I prepared this disk a while back, but it was about talking about the process, some of my thought process that goes into putting out pages. Can I take this out of here? I don't want to show this. Tear stuff up. Let's see how far I can get away with murder here. Oh, pretty good, pretty good. No, that's not bad. All right, so anyway, I don't like to prepare too much for stuff. I like spontaneity. So we could talk about, I'll run you through some of this stuff, but I think the best thing, so that all you guys get out of this meeting what you want, is you can just ask me anything, and we can talk about it, and because I can run my mouth for quite a long time about pretty much anything. So I don't know the order. I brought some covers just to see, and this is not much to talk about other than when I do covers, I try and keep very simple, iconic designs. A lot of people get very busy with covers. I think for me that's the wrong approach. I look at it as like a logo, right? A logo should be able to be read from quite a distance. It should have clarity. And to me, the way to get there is simplicity. And so one of the things I try and do when I come up with covers is to look for a shape. Now, most good composition is based on shapes. A pyramid shape gives strength because it's got a heavy base and stuff like that. And so anyway, I try and pick things that, from a postage stamp size, can either be read or have a strong shape to them. And so that's just my approach to buzzing through covers. If whoever's backstage, do you have that rolling yet? If you do, you can go and pop one forward for me. All right, so this is, again, I got all kinds of stuff in there in no particular order here, and I didn't talk about things back there with him while he was getting it rolling, because I want you guys to have something going on so you're not sitting here twiddling your thumbs. So, but anyway, this is how I start. Now, I've gone back to my old way, which is doing my breakdowns directly on the large boards. But here, in this instance, what I was doing was I was making just tiny thumbnails about this big for each page. And once I would do that, I would scan it into my computer, and then I also had a full comic book page scanned into my computer, and then I would take my tiny rough and I would blow it up and place it into the right dimension for that page, and then put that out on a printer, and then light box that rough onto my board and pencil. I did it as an experiment to see if I could move things along quicker. It has its advantages and disadvantages, in my opinion. When you do it all small like that, it gives you a very good overview, and it brings you back to what I said about covers. I think things should be able to be easily read and from a distance. And so when you're drawing something this big, if it's very clear for you to understand what's going on, when you're looking at it, you're on your way to having a strong design. And then you could also see from a nice distance the flow of the page, guide the reader's eye throughout the page in the path that you want it to go, which is kind of like that. Lead them through the path and then out the door. So you go ahead and buzz that. So anyway, yeah, this is more of the development stuff. Sometimes even I would increase, the depth of the layout in the computer. That was digitally beefed up with some ink. So I brought these just so you can see how the origin of all my stuff begins. It looks like that before we get to the finished stuff. You go and buzz it. Okay, there's a cover. That's as most complicated as I want to ever get. And I did that because Scott had wanted this particular image or these elements, and so I put it together. And every once in a while, I give balls out. Is that okay to say balls out? Anyway, put everything you want, the kitchen sink in there. But again, the central image is all right there, and I keep it all connected so that it becomes a solid mass. Everything's touching everything else, if you notice. The copter, the guy, Batman, the bike, it's all connected, so it becomes one single unified shape. And buzz. Again, you've all seen this. When I put this together, all this hadn't even been printed yet. Have you read the Court of Owls? Yep. Yeah. Right, so you all know Batman got the actual living shit kicked out of him for many, many issues, right? And he was really, really, really beat down, and many times on his knees, and he didn't like this, you know, when he got stabbed, starved, drugged, right, everything, right? So I figured for the last iconic image, it's very simplistic, right? It's just a shape. You know, I figured I wanted to be symbolic of the rising of the phoenix, you know, from the ashes. And then I go, okay, what's something cool I could do with that? Well, when I look at flames, the way flames look around, I go, you can translate that into the shapes of bats, right? So I got the flames come up, and you see some bat shapes in there, and they're all going into melting into his chest symbol, kind of like, you know, into his heart, whatever. And so, you know, that was my thought process in doing that cover, in combining the essence of what I felt was the final issue, and finding some creative little thing that you can add to make it interesting, which is the bat shapes. And again, I keep just a simple, iconic image. And by the way, when I draw Batman, I draw him as a shape, a monolithic shape. Solid black monolith. And so this is the portrayal. Go ahead, Buzz. Thanks. You guys familiar with some of this stuff, eh? From Corvallis. So, you know, you see the circle in the corner there, and and the towns have the circles for the eyes, owls have circles, so you start to develop a motif. Now, if my pages are in order, this would be great, but probably not. But I was trying to show how how you use a motif. It could be anything. It could be a cross. It could be any kind of symbol, and you carry that through and layer it through your pages, and it gives some cohesion throughout your work, and again, create something that's interesting. So the flashbulb became just another vehicle to use the circle. And throughout these pages in the story, there were many opportunities. If you look for whether it was a manhole cover, or the lens of a camera, or the Talon's eyes, there was always a circle motif going on through this. And then, you know, I'm always trying to push on how I could show something, you know, creatively. So in here, when Batman's seeing all these people who've been starved and killed in the labyrinth, right? And the hair, by the way, is beat. As you probably know, it's only an illusion because he's hallucinating. It never grew like that. But when he comes upon the face, I go, it'd be cool to show us his reflection over the face of one of the victims. It's kind of like a foreshadowing of what his fate is to be. So now, that's not in the directing or the writing. That's the kind of stuff that when I'm reading the script, here's how my mind is working. How can I now bring that up to the next level and make that visually interesting? So anyway, this is what we're doing. We're superimposing Batman, symbolic of the fate that it befalls him, and then you see what's coming after that stage. The Talon's going to be coming for it. So next. There we go. Again, just a nice, cool, iconic shape of cover here. You know, and it was great because, you know, Batman was on drugs, so I could bend reality and make it something cool, creepy. He's transformed into an owl, which is sort of something he saw happen. He thought his feet were, you know, owl feet, whatever like that. So I go, this would be a perfect cover. Okay. And next. First cover, whatever. Next. Okay, so again, it's very simple. Right? It was about showing, you know, that the owls have been shedding blood in Gotham for years. So you go, you know, okay, that's one of the elements, and then the Talon's hunting Batman. Okay, so how do you put that together, you know, to make a cover to tell that message? Okay, so my solution was a bloody, dripping Gotham City with the Talon as the backdrop and Batman's in the sights. It gives you all those pieces of information, captures the essence of what it is that's happening in the story. And so you as an artist, I assume that a lot of you are wannabe artists or professional artists or semi-professional artists, yes, no? Who's artists? All these people are artists? Yeah. So some of the stuff I'm saying making sense, right? Alright, so always try and look for the piece of the puzzle, and what's going to make it unique for you is how you put those pieces of the puzzle together. Each one of us can be given a plate filled with pieces, and we're going to assemble it differently, right? And that's the beauty and the magic of it. Next. See, and so, okay, so then it just became, now this was an accident, right? It's an opportunity that I capitalized on. Because when Batman turns the tables, right, I go, I'm going to use the same image, because now they're in Gotham Manor. The blood's being shed in Bruce Wayne's Manor, not Gotham Manor, Bruce Wayne's Manor. So here, I take the exact same image. Now,
again, it's just a happy accident. I now can put these two covers together, and when you put them up against each other, you go, wow, that's cool, man, it's a mirror image. And the beauty of it too is he turns the table, so it's perfect. It's really just perfect. A perfect opportunity that happens. So, again, you look for your opportunities. How can I capitalize, and what can I do to make it cool and special? Next. Again, I went symbolic. All the towns are after Batman, and so, some artists would have gone, how about draw a bunch of actual Talon assassins coming down after Batman, and probably crossed my mind. But again, I talk about, iconic images and simple design. Instead, I go, I'm gonna make them owl Talons, and just make it a shape, one unified shape. Make it more designy, and that way all the focus can be just on Batman over the fallen Talon, and it makes a simple, easy to read design. Not busy, not crazy, and to me, more successful design. Next. Again, I talked about pyramid shape, right? So here I use the light on the columns to create the heavy base on the bottom. Very simple shape. See, now the Egyptians, if you look on hieroglyphs, the Egyptians were always like sideways. You can see every limb. Now you're not able to do that all the time, but when you're drawing your figures and stuff, it helps the reader if you can give a simple shape, which you see with the Talon, and it also gives a strong T. We're familiar. A lot of strong designs are built off of the alphabet shapes. And so you got a strong T design, and you see all his limbs. So again, when you could see the shape of a body, it also helps for the viewer to easily read and decipher what's going on, which is particularly important when you're drawing action scenes with all kinds of characters thrown around. And to remain clear, shape becomes very important. Next. Next. Thank you. Okay, I don't even remember what I was going to talk about with this stuff, but let's see if I can